Okay, so here we go. We're going to jump right back into this tournament mode. And what I want to tell you guys, let me see, what I want to talk about to you guys was we'll do the single. I'll probably do the tag team tournament tomorrow. So, anyways, okay, so I want to talk to you guys. Man, things that's going on in wrestling right now. So, you guys know that SummerSlam is coming up. I think what August 3rd, and then you have AEW All In. I think it's the 23rd or something like that, and Wembley. Now, here's the thing about people talking about ticket sales and certain things. Now, I don't know what the price of the tickets are in Wembley for AEW's event. Now, what I do know about that event, well, put it like this: the numbers probably changed since then. Yesterday afternoon, early afternoon, they were like 40 something thousand tickets sold, something like that. Now, they still have a little ways to go before we get to the event. Last year, they had a sellout arena. And of course, you always have people that want to come in and try to, find something to. I don't know if they really had that many people or whatever. But what ended up happening was this year when I was looking, let's put Devon Dudley in. When I was looking at the complaints about what's happening with SummerSlam, they were complaining about the ticket prices. So let me say this about anything, okay? But professional wrestling, okay, anything that is like first priority of your leisure time stuff, your hobbies, things like that. When it comes to things like that, unless you are like whatever you're watching is first priority, well, yeah, it's something that people will skip. I'll catch the replay of it. I'll do this another time. Why? You gotta understand something. Once again, wrestling, it's a lot of it. People take it for granted. Anytime you have an abundance of something, they take it for granted. Like it's always just gonna be there. And then when it's no longer there, the attitude that people have is like, oh, that's messed up. They canceled this show. They canceled that show. What happened? Oh, you guys wasn't watching. You wasn't supporting. Okay? And people don't understand. They think that it's not always because a company is doing something wrong. People got to understand there's a lot more going on in the world. Leisure time stuff is, especially. I mean, think about this. If you yourself have Hulu, like me, okay? I have multiple social media, streaming apps. So the thing that I have going on with me is that there's only so many movies you can watch. I mean, so if you're gonna break it down and say, let's look at the amount of games that we have. Let's look at the amount of games that we have. Okay, now with all of these games, all of these different consoles, like myself. Okay, we own a Series X in this house, a 360, a Switch. Okay, a Series S. I mean, a Series X, a One X. We have a Wii. So there's a lot. Okay, when do you have time to play all of that? Then we have Netflix. Okay, we have Tubi, we have Peacock, we have what's the other one? Amazon Prime. Like, YouTube alone takes up a lot of your time. Okay? So, guess what? When people have to start making decisions, you know what they do? They get to a point where they start, putting certain things off. It's as simple as that. Okay, I already have such and such I'm watching tonight. I'm going to watch this show. And you know what they'll do? They'll catch the replay of wrestling. wrestling is treated that way, and people within wrestling treat it that way also. Okay, which means when it comes down to it, a lot of times the tickets are just too much, man. They're too expensive, and people can't afford this. They want to go, but it's like, how do I attend a show where, you know, I can't pay certain bills if I go? What's more important, right? You're gonna sacrifice, putting food on the table, keeping your lights on to go to a show? Like, no, it's not that serious. It's just something for entertainment. And a lot of times these people, the arrogance, the ego, they overcharge. I know damn well that when I look at, you go to StubHub, look at the prices of the tickets. Okay? Look at the ticket prices. I mean, you know how they do their bundles and everything, and you see like family of four, $3,500 for some freaking tickets to sit. And guess what? Here's the thing about it, right? The majority of the seats that's not sold are the ones that's floor seats. They're just asking for too much. They're really asking for too much money. Now, 2 weeks away from SummerSlam. Yeah, they have to figure that out, man. Like, you can't just expect, well, that's the ego of people. They just think because, hey, we're WWE, we can sell out anywhere. It's like, hey, man, listen, you really need to pay attention to what's going on, because how about we go Dr. Dev Steve Williams? Yeah, you really need to pay attention to what's going on, because these people, these are not rich people, okay? And it's obvious you don't have a whole bunch of celebrities coming to the show. Otherwise, guess what? Those floor seats, they'd be sold as well. Now, they still have time. Not saying they won't. Then, I don't know if you guys noticed, right? But how many matches did they... I didn't watch all of Raw last night. I saw a little bit. I don't know if they announced any other matches last night for SummerSlam, because right now they only have 4 that they announced for a show that's 2 weeks away. You know what I'm saying? And, so I'm looking at it and I'm just like, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe those tickets will sell. Who knows? But a lot of these tickets are just too expensive. Funny thing is, when a company give you very affordable tickets, people are going, ha, 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 LOL, broke ass company. And I'm just like, wow. So you're one of those slave mentality people that think that you're impressing people because you're spending more money for a ticket than what you should. But hey, okay. Not to mention, I guarantee you, 99.9 or 100% of those people typing in LOL, ha, 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 never go to a live show. And if they do, they're way up in the nosebleed section. So it's so crazy the way people think. But what I was looking at too, all the negative comments that were being said, right? And I look, someone was making comments about, All In. Oh, they only got 40-something. Not like, okay. Even to say they only have 40-something thousand at this point in time, even for the WWE to not have a sold-out arena where they are, how many other companies, do you know how many other companies wish they could have 40,000 people sit there? Do you know how many other companies wish they could have 4,000 people sitting there? So I'm reading comments, I'm watching some videos, and I mean, the things that these people say a lot of times, I'm like, yeah, they talk, but they really don't understand what they're talking about. They don't have any real logic. They're just saying things to be spiteful, to be mean and hateful. Like, I don't know what, I just don't know what you get out of it, what satisfaction you get out of it, but that's what they do. So, this one guy is talking, and he's talking about, WWE is bigger than Disney. And, I'm like, they're bigger than Disney. No, brother, they're not bigger than Disney. No. And for the record, if they were bigger than Disney, they could operate, okay, from their WWE network, and they'd be sponsoring people. They'd have partnerships where they're the deep pockets in the situation. Like, no, they're not bigger than Disney, okay? And I believe Now, I don't know his motivation, but it could be because even though he was saying some things about the WWE, he speaks very harshly about AEW. Probably because Warner Brothers have a TV deal extension with AEW, and then there's been talks, and people put up these little spreadsheets and show the information where AEW's programming has been already included on HBO Max outside of America. So obviously they want to seal that deal in America as well, and that they're saying that they basically want another pay-per-view from AEW. So bottom line is, this is great news. So it's like, okay, let me say a little bit of something about WWE, the things that bother me about it, personally me, not my audience, anybody else, but just me. And then what I'm going to do is try to make them seem like they're larger than life. Well, here's the thing. If WWE is bigger than Disney, then that means Disney shouldn't have a movie out that people watch and choose to watch that over the WWE. Okay, so at the end of the day, unless something changes with wrestling, until something changes where people put it first priority, where there's those who do, but the masses don't. And that's why ratings always fall short when it comes to like basketball, football, whatever. There's times when the AEW had higher ratings than the baseball game or basketball game that was on at the same time. But those reports people don't want to get into. So what I was looking at too was, now it was ironic to me because we were talking about Forbidden Door, and I'm explaining to you guys like, no, the Forbidden Door is not something. The concept of what it is, okay, it's not like we haven't seen people like cross-promotion wrestling matches before. This is something that happened way back in the 80s. Okay, it's not like it's something that never happened before. But, like I said, Tony Khan is the one that used the phrase, the Forbidden Door. Okay? So when you hear people saying this, and then they see WWE doing it, this is not something that WWE came up with. Have they done it before with ECW? Yes. WCW was doing the same thing. Okay, and when ECW went down, WCW took a handful of ECW wrestlers, WWE took a handful of ECW wrestlers, and so pretty much the rest is history. But in this day and time, okay, no one was doing that. AEW did it. And here's the thing. When AEW did it with TNA Impact, TNA actually had a boost in their ratings, which is something that we talked about. It was more beneficial and more meaningful because as a promotion, what the whole point is this. Any company, the bigger company is always in the driver's seat. Okay? There'll be a problem with WWE and AEW. That's why, notice, Triple H was even asked in an interview about that. He has no interest in cross-promoting with AEW, so why TNA? Okay? Understand, there's been no boost in the ratings. I told you guys this some videos ago that the cross-promotion didn't help TNA do anything. I'll show you what some misconceptions are. First of all, when AEW did it, the whole idea is to bring different wrestling promotions together. This is a damn good match. Okay, bring the cross promotions together. Of course, Tony Khan, AEW, they want Impact audience to watch them, vice versa. Okay, now we're familiar with each other's wrestlers. Okay, and so what ends up happening is, not only do you see Kenny Omega versus Moose, but Tony Khan himself actually shows up and attends. Okay, Impact Wrestling TNA event. Okay, you saw this, and so basically, I don't know how long the deal was supposed to last or whatever, but basically because TNA wrestler is supposed to make the comment that, oh, WWE is treating us better, or whatever it may be. Well, here's the deal. And this is what people don't understand. The Forbidden Door concept is to unite these organizations, expand the wrestling audience, and of course, you want your company to benefit as well as the company that you're working with. But, okay, let me make a key point. Remember when Will Ospreay wrestled against Kenny Omega? Kenny Omega is all elite. Will Ospreay wasn't. Will Ospreay won that match, okay, at an AEW pay-per-view. So that led me to believe it had to been some talks with Tony Khan and Will Ospreay, and there had to be some trust there. Why? Because your guy, one of your top guys in Kenny Omega lost, okay, to Will Ospreay, which is a solid wrestler, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is he wasn't under contract with you guys at that point. So guess what? That made me think, Will Ospreay must have told Tony, well, my contract is up. I'm coming in. I want in. And I had just saw Will Ospreay a couple of, I think about a couple months before that, against Josh Alexander and TNA. So my thing was, that goes to show you what I'm saying. He could have easily said, nah, hell no. Kenny Omega is going to win. He's all elite. You're not. When Kenny Omega defeated Moose, he was the world champion. You understand? So at the end of the day, there's always a such thing as a rematch. So this guy wins, that guy wins. Okay. But what ends up happening is Will Ospreay winds up signing with AEW. Okay, great. They didn't take TNA wrestlers and try to make them look like crap. They didn't take them and let's make them look like a bunch of buffoons. No, this was like the whole point on that was, see, it's an idea that Tony had and he expressed that and he did it and it worked well. Now, all of a sudden, the WWE is doing it. So guess what? Now the Forbidden Door concept is like, okay, everybody does it. Do you understand? So now it's like okay. To WWE fans, they want to completely overlook the fact that, no, AEW was already doing this with the same company that you guys are working with now. But there was an interest, there was a boost in their ratings. And pretty much, who didn't capitalize on this was TNA. Now, TNA is doing this with the WWE, and their ratings are lower now than they were when they were doing this with AEW. So for the most part, then you got to understand, right? Why was it a better deal? And this is what I'm saying. People love to say things. AEW, okay, does not have a Dynamite World Champion, a Dynamite US Champion, a Dynamite International Champion, a Collision World Champion, you understand, and so forth. They don't have that. Like I told you, TNA, okay, they are coming on to what? They are coming on to NXT, the developmental fucking league of the WWE. People don't want to admit it because that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Okay, they barely take NXT on the road for anything. Okay, they're a studio wrestling league. Okay, so at the end of the day, that's my point. That is my point. NXT ratings are lower than AEW's ratings. So you have a couple of times where, and AEW's ratings dipped. AEW's ratings dipped again. And then all of a sudden now you look and you see they've been having a steady hold for a little while now, where now all of a sudden, and they was destroying TNA, NXT in the ratings for a long time initially, right? Well, check this out. The whole point of what the WWE is doing is different. And you can look and see. Look at the roster of TNA and look at who came from TNA to AEW, right? Let's look at it. So they wasn't trying to, let me take your wrestlers. No, this was a partnership. This was a thing. And I said I would like to see AEW. I think it would be a beautiful idea if they was to do that which it probably won't happen now, obviously, because TNA, you know, WWE don't want anybody working with someone they're working with, so TNA won't break that. But like hell, do that with NWA, do that with MLW, you know, CMLL, you know, New Japan. Have something start them. Have an event where wrestlers from all of those organizations are on the card. Do something different, you know. Put something together differently. So here's the thing that people don't understand, though, right? It's funny how it's not a new concept for AEW and Tony Khan, but it's all of a sudden some new thing for the WWE. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, they're doing the same thing. But you see, my point is, these guys are coming on Dynamite, not some developmental show. And that's where the technology comes in. The reason why the people of TNA don't see it that way, because this is the WWE, and NXT alone get far more ratings than, you know, TNA gets. TNA is on Access TV. Do you know how many people, I know that nobody knows what channel that is? They don't even have it. So, bottom line, for them to get a boost in ratings dealing with AEW, it goes to show you. And it was far more interesting than what they're doing now. Far more interesting. Once again, like I told you, you don't see Jordynne Grace pinning Bianca Belair shoulders to the mat. You don't see her pinning Charlotte Flair. You don't see her pinning Nia Jackson and these guys, right? So no. Even if you look at, for example, if you take an Ivy 9, if you take a Peyton Paxley, if you take a Chelsea Green, someone who has never really done much anything yet in WWE, and that's who you're matching up with Jordynne Grace, the Knockouts champion. You understand? So it's not like they're doing anything special for them. The WWE is not doing this for TNA to benefit. They want them to benefit in this way. First of all, the WWE has a personal interest in Jordynne Grace. They have a personal interest in Joe Hendry. Now, whoever else they may have an interest in, I don't know. Okay? But the people that they brought onto NXT to invade the show, so to speak, the funny thing was they invaded the show and interrupted look at this. TNA wrestlers invaded the show to attack other TNA wrestlers. Okay, do you understand that? So now, here's the thing. My audience over here in the WWE is now familiar with Jordynne Grace. Well, they were familiar with her when she came out at the Royal Rumble. That cheer said it all. Same way with Jade Cargill coming from AEW. But bottom line is now, they've been familiar with her. They've seen her face on our program a couple of times. Right? When her contract is up, fingers crossed, she signs with us. Can you imagine that ovation when Jordynne Grace comes out and says, so I want to let you guys know, I've been a part of TNA, such and such a thing. I've been multi-time Knockouts champion, this, that, and everything. But now, right, I am fully committed and I am now a part of the WWE roster, right? Joe Hendry has a character, okay, that fits the WWE style, okay? Anybody that they're willing to work with and put on their program, they have an interest in. And that's what the expectations are. That's what the hopes are, is that, okay, that person know they're going to get paid more working here than they're getting paid in TNA. And regardless, we have interest in them. So, you know what? When that contract is up, that's what they're hoping. That those guys, that they have interest and leave TNA and come to WWE. If you think that they're doing this to help TNA, no. Whatever benefits that TNA may have been able to get, okay, that's all it can come down to. That's it. There's no effort on WWE's part to try to help boost anything about TNA. So pretty much going forward, let's say if something develops where they have a stronger partnership, well, you want to know why? What they would hope? When contracts are up in TNA, that these people come to WWE instead of AEW, who's the competition. TNA is not a threat to the WWE. Okay? Their highest ratings was they were like 70-something thousand viewership, 70, 80,000. after the TNA situation with AEW, they were getting like 100,000 views. Well, 100,000 their viewership was like 100,000 people. Okay, so it had went up considerably from what it was. And then it dipped again. And it didn't go back to that. So no, it didn't really do anything for them in their ratings being a part of the WWE program. And bottom line, that's the thinking process of the average fan anyway. They'll see a Jordan Grayson, so say she should go to WWE. They'll see a Moose and go, oh, Moose should go to WWE. But this is the thinking process. So it's like, no, I'm not going to watch TNA just so I can see Jordan Grayson Moose. You understand what I mean? So I hear people talking, but they're not paying attention to those type of details. And understand too, okay, I just watched Slammiversary the other last Sunday. It was a Saturday or Sunday. Very good show. Okay, it was a good show. This was the biggest crowd that they have had in a long time. This is not because of the WWE. What people fail to realize because they don't watch TNA, Canada is always the biggest crowd. By far. By far. Now, go look at the Explosion show that happened after Canada when they got back to the States and it's back to the little tiny arena. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah, that had nothing to do with the WWE. So now when you see a thumbnail and it says, or you hear a TNA wrestler say, this is our biggest audience since such and such, or in a long time. Yeah, this was a nice sized crowd and it felt great to see that. When TNA was drawing 3,500 people, they was able to get 8,000 people. People was, oh man, that's nothing. That building holds 15,000. That building holds 10,000. They can't sell it out. And it's like, what TNA should have done was got smaller buildings where they could have it maxed out to full capacity. And it looks way better when people see you in a sold out arena versus arena where everything is taken off. Okay, but bottom line is, it was all complaints. And it got to the point everything changed. The production quality, everything. And TNA truly felt like an indie show. For a long time, and it was just hard to watch. I would watch it and it was just like, wow, watching what they came from, watching how they started out, to where they end up going, and watching them at that time, lights out. Watching them at that time was just like, wow, it was just hard to watch. I mean, they come out, and they'd have like 2-3 rows of people from the front of the rail. I mean, it was so quiet. It reminded me of COVID all over again. And it was hard to watch. Now, what ends up happening is you realize, yeah, what you thought was a small crowd was huge compared to what they have. And let me tell you something. They have wrestling companies all over the country, all in and out the country. And let me tell you, they're not packing 3,500 people every show. They're not packing 8,000 people every show. So those things that people don't appreciate, they don't understand it until a company is no longer around. And they'll say, I missed that company or whatever it may be. Or they'll start to realize things that they overlooked. Some people, not most of them, but some of them will. And when you look at, when I was watching this show, I said, damn, it just felt like, it was like a breath of fresh air watching TNA finally have a nice sized crowd. I mean, when the building is so empty that you can hear the wrestler breathing louder than you can hear the commentary. And this is what was going on. But the very next show, like I said, the Explosion show, I'm watching it and it's like, yeah, back to the small crowd. Okay. It's going to vary depending on where they are, but no. In the States, that's the point. They're not going to get those kind of crowds in the States. And that's one of the things people didn't pay attention to. Canada has always been. Because most of them, like Scott D'Amore, Canadian. Eric Young, Canadian. Robert Roode, all these guys, Canadian. So they had a stronghold in this. Okay, and Anthem, the company, these people think they're based out in Canada. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Anthem, the company of Anthem, but I know some people that, because I know they were talking about, at one point, the idea was to have Canada as the home base of TNA. So somebody in a high position, obviously is from Canada, okay, as well. But I don't remember exactly who it was. But this is the type of thing where people they don't pay attention to like what's really real. As far as behind the scenes with these wrestling companies, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are assholes, jackasses, jerks, hard to work with. So for me, it's just like where you work at. You earn a paycheck there. Some of you may be a bunch of kiss asses and go to work and play phony, but then you got the people that, hey, I just go to work, I'm polite to those who are polite to me, I come to do my job to the best of my ability, and I provide my services. Get my money, I go, right? Okay. But, same way how you might see somebody at work and you see them for who they are, but other people are fooled by them, right? And you look like, yeah. You don't walk around worrying about warning people. You just mind your business, and you know who's who, and you stay away from people, right? You know how to flex with people. So the same thing. So I'm not here like pumping my fist in the air. Like, no. You would hope that people work in a respectable environment, that people are being treated fair and all that. So my thing is, I'm not here for dirt sheet stuff. I'm not here for the gossip. But as a company, okay, what I'm saying, I would gain absolutely nothing to see a wrestling promotion go out of business. Now, when you have bad apples, like when people talk about a lot of situations that happen where people are being mistreated, replace those people. The reason why a lot of people don't get replaced is because they might be a racist but good at their job. You understand what I mean? They could be a chauvinistic person but good at their job. So people look at what do they lose benefit wise, and they'll look at the person complaining and would rather fire you than the person that's causing you to be uncomfortable, because they think that person is more valuable than you are. So we get that kind of crap everywhere you work. You see some idiot with that mentality, and it's sad that it's that way, but enough people don't speak up, and that's why Jesse Ventura was trying to even union. One of the reasons. Trying to form a union for wrestlers, and then you got, this idiot Hulk Hogan goes back and rats Jesse out, and well, we know Hulk Hogan has a lot of bullshit with him anyway. But point that I'm making, guys, is that when it comes to these wrestling companies, okay, and you have people talking about this company sucks, that company sucks. Every time you guys see a wrestler, you say that person should go to WWE. What you fail to realize is those top stars is what keep the other companies afloat. And for everyone that's released from WWE, if there was no other companies and nowhere else to go, that means they have to find another line of work, or they have to go back to the indie circuits. But what if there wasn't? Just bottom line. So now the same way, if AEW lets someone go, or whatever, they want to get out of their contract, guess what? There's other places to go. You don't know where you're going to end up. We know that Bobby Lashley is no longer in the WWE, and MVP, who's still under contract with the WWE but haven't been used, have been expressing how he feels about what Hunter Helmsley has been doing as far as how he's been running things, some of the bad decisions he's made. Now, you probably have people that will speak highly of Hunter, and you have some that will speak that will tell the truth. None of them are going to really say much of anything when they're under contract because they're scared of losing their position. Which leads me to believe that MVP wants out of his contract, because he knows Hunter is going to get word of what he's saying, so he didn't say it so Hunter wouldn't find out. And mind you, MVP was pretty much the mouthpiece for Omos. Now, without MVP, what do they do with Omos? So a lot of times, one person leaving affects another person. So the whole thing of this whole nan-ass, stupid, childish nonsense that people do, people need to wake up. Even like somebody, I read something someone said the other day about, AEW, they're shitty company. Look at what they're doing with Adam Cole. The guy's been there, you haven't seen him on TV since. First of all, Adam Cole was out injuring a nurse, nursing an injury, a very bad injury. Okay? And they don't even know the score. They just love to talk. So, bottom line is, these companies all benefit. Now, as far as healthy competition, like if every company is propping the other to stay on their toes and put their best work out, fine. But in terms of this whole, I hate this company has to go. I don't know why this company's here. It's really a stupid way of thinking. You could be a victim of where you work. Your parents, somebody that you love, can be the same thing. Now my thing is the assumption that everybody's making is that they're gonna go MVP and Bobby Lashley's gonna go to AEW and copy AEW's idea of the Hurt Business. You want to know what's so funny? When I read that, I said, "Wow." So either you're a puppy and aren't old enough to remember some of this shit, or you just basically just one of these people that just love to talk and hear your own voice, and you're typing stupid things in. First of all, way before Bobby Lashley's WWE return, you guys remember what's the guy? Kenny King? Yeah, it was Kenny King. It was Bobby Lashley, and who was the mouthpiece for them? MVP. Okay, so basically, when he came to AEW and they did this back to WWE and they formed the Hurt Business, where the hell do you think they got that idea from? And even the feud between Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre, they had a great chemistry in TNA. So guess what? Now this is a feud over here in WWE again. I mean, people just love to talk. So no, TNA, AEW, first of all, wouldn't be stealing that idea. Okay, and if it would be stealing it, well, the WWE stole it too. How about that? Because we know Shelton Benjamin, he's gone. And to be honest with you, for Shelton Benjamin, his amount of years and experience in the business, you get respect for that. But the way he was used, he didn't do much of anything in the WWE. It's the way they chose to use him, okay? So he doesn't bring any value to AEW by himself. He just doesn't. He's not going to... People have this, then his fans will follow. No, man, Shelton Benjamin is not a standout guy. Okay, it's not like, Shelton Benjamin's here. All of a sudden, everybody's going to start watching AEW because it's Shelton Benjamin. No, it's not going to happen. Now, him coming, because of the Hurt Business, people felt like they stopped it way too soon. If him coming there and Bobby Lashley does go there and MVP, and they end up those two again. Now Cedric Alexander is still in the WWE as far as I know, unless he's one that let go, because I know the WWE was said to have made some cuts this week. But the point is, if they come there, of course it won't be called the Hurt Business, but if they were to come there, well, here's the thing, right? That would spark more interest of them coming there as a group, as opposed to just Shelton Benjamin just coming there. Okay, and my thing is, if you're gonna go from saying the Hurt Business was stopped too soon to hating on them simply because they show up in AEW instead of the WWE, what do you people have a mentality like, if you get let go by the WWE, you're supposed to sit crossing your fingers hoping that they call you back, however long it takes. Like you don't have the right to go out and earn your living in the very business that you love, and that you want to go out there and do your job. So we'll see what happens. But they also might end up going to TNA. So a lot of times when you hear things is not necessarily true, or it may be true, but it might be other details that you don't know. That, like example, because people were swearing that Drew McIntyre was done with WWE and that he was done with the company. We saw that, and several people did videos about it. And all of a sudden, Drew McIntyre is right back there in the WWE. We heard Becky Lynch did not renew her contract, and that she basically, and she chose to not renew it. So, we don't know what's going to happen. But my whole thing is, it's funny how people are such huge fans of these wrestlers until they leave the WWE. It's like, if you really are a fan of that wrestler or whatever, you like their work or whatever, you follow them wherever they went. It doesn't make a difference. Okay, they're AEW, fine. Oh, they're in TNA? Okay, cool. They're in NLW? They're in New Japan? No. But when that's my favorite wrestler. How? So you're not going to watch them because they're no longer in the WWE? Well, you're the worst kind of fan. To be honest, that's the worst kind of fan. That's my favorite wrestler, but I won't watch him or her because they left the WWE. You know, I always liked Jade Cargill. I didn't stop watching Jade because she went to the WWE. For what? For what? It's like, you know, then in her defense when people was, oh, she can't wrestle. No, Jade can go. Stop. Let's stop with the nonsense. Jade can go. Jade is just particular. You can't give her more than any wrestler for that matter. But Jade, obviously, the versatility of being able to wrestle any style of match, and no, all that fast-paced, super fast tag stuff, that's not her. And the majority of the female matches are botches, a lot of botches. I see stuff that people overlook. You know, now you slip it off the top rope is far more noticeable than, you know, missing a certain move. Like I saw, in fact, I was watching Eric Young versus what's his name, Hammerstone, at the Slammiversary pay-per-view. And it was where Hammerstone threw Eric Young in the corner. He missed his cue. And Eric Young literally jumped over the top rope on his own without Hammerstone doing anything. And I know that whole crowd had to see that. I mean, like, there's no way. Like, he literally just jumped over the top rope. Hammerstone didn't do shit. We've seen several times. We've seen that happen. I saw Scott Steiner do that before. A lot of people. I've seen several people screw up. It's just that when it happened with Jade, somehow it was just, let's all attack Jade. That's all that was. They make you think it was the worst thing in the world. When I saw it myself, I said, man, wow, look at how people exaggerate. And bottom line, it was like a concern that night that a lot of people were saying the top rope felt very flimsy, very loose. And like example, now this wasn't a rope situation, but did you guys notice the other day when Will Ospreay versus MJF, which was an awesome match, but did you notice when he put Ospreay on the table outside the ring? Before MJF climbed up to that top rope, what did he do? He removed not the turnbuckle pad, but the joint, the corner joints. He removed it. Why? Because those things are slippery, they roll. Which means he could jump and it slips and then he winds up getting hurt really, really bad. You know, or hurting him and Will Ospreay really bad. So he basically took it off. So his foot is on just the middle part. So these are things that people gotta pay, like they don't pay attention to. They just love to hear a story. They don't care if it's true or not. But with all that being said, economically, there's more things that we do. And a lot of these prices for tickets or pay-per-views and things like that, they can be very pricey. I mean, hell, you have a boxing pay-per-view, you have a crappy undercard, and then here's the worst part is when the main event doesn't live up to the hype, and then all of a sudden, the undercard fights are better than the main event. And you just sat here and paid $120 for a freaking pay-per-view and then feel ripped off about it. So these are things that people have to consider. Dr. D with the win. So, you know, that's the type of things that, you know, people don't pay attention to. It's like, you got to understand, you know, WWE's been around for a very long time. AEW has been here only 5 years, and look at the progress that they've made. And instead of people feeling like, hey, man, we got another wrestling company to watch, nope. It's like it's war. It's the WWE versus AEW. No, basically it's the WWE versus everybody. And the truth of the matter is, it's like it's so stupid. It's so stupid, man. I was watching what the WWE had going on, and as far as like their shows, the storylines with Cody, and I'm saying this, people are starting to get tired of Cody already, right? And I'm saying, you know, the problem is this: Cody doesn't have. You see, like how Flair had Sting and Luger. I mean, he had a lot of people, you know. But I mean, like, if you go to more of a time of just say, like, for example, how John Cena. I mean, it's really the same thing. It doesn't matter what example I use. It's the same thing. You know, Flair had his Sting, Luger, Terry Funk, Steamboat. You know, Dusty Rhodes. I mean, he's had his share of people. Okay, Cody, John Cena had Edge. He had Randy Orton. Those are like his two biggest rivals. It's so many different people we can use, for example, but the whole point of the example is that Cody doesn't have that. This whole time, first off, when people wanted to see Cody win, he didn't. Right? So, when they wanted to see him win it again, he didn't. And I'm talking about the world title. So, when he finally got it from Roman Reigns, and the fact that Roman Reigns had that belt forever, it was like, okay, finally. Somebody, not only did Cody win and do this, his father didn't get it done, so I'm doing this for me, but I'm this is a tribute to my dad. I finally took this belt off of Roman Reigns. So even when The Rock is telling him that he had to go away for now, but our story is just beginning, right? And remember, the fans are sitting there saying, hey, goodbye, right? This is what they're saying to The Rock. Okay? So it's what I'm telling you. They don't care about that feud. They really don't care about that feud. Because why? The possibility of The Rock beating him. No, they don't want that to happen. And you got to understand, this is a different generation as well that's watching this stuff. So, no, they don't want Cody to lose to The Rock. And the problem is, Cody don't have a heel that he can face that it's like, okay, this is Cody's rival. It's like Cody standing here holding on to this belt. He comes out every single week wearing a suit and just talk. You understand? There's nothing going on. There was nothing. So I'm saying this because wrestling has always had its top 3 good guys and bad guys. Now you can say a top 5, but here's the thing: it's the top 3, 4 and 5. They're gonna lose at times. Like they'll lose a high 70, kind of mid 80s, mid 80s, maybe 90% of their matches. Okay, 4 and 5 are going to do that. 3 are going to win a good 95%, 94, 95% of their matches. 2 is going to win like 90, 97, 98% of their matches. Number 1 is going to win 98, 99% of their matches. That's just the way it's going to go. And most of those matches that they lose would be like count out or disqualification. That's how it always has been. So you've always had like your top 3 heels and your top 3 faces. Well, nobody really stands out. Cody's just there holding the belt. He comes out holding his belt. Always, it's like nothing going on. Someone comes out, they talk, they say their little words back and forth. He hypes the crowd up. You're all intense and jumping around, but like, what's going on? Okay, it's like, now that you've taken the belt off of Roman Reigns, we've run out of ideas for you. That's what it feels like. So now you look over here in AEW, right? The heel turn by MJF, when it happened, the way it happened, I wasn't shocked only because of the ring situation as far as it happened that night. Anytime someone comes out to the ring with you in support, it's always that possibility this person's going to turn. It does cross your mind because that's just wrestling. But, like the Mariah May situation with Toni Storm, I didn't see that coming the way it happened. That was well done. It was funny because the following week she goes, everybody knew it was coming. But it was like, everybody saw it coming. I'm like, no, we really didn't. Like, we really didn't see that. But, why when I wasn't shocked about MJF, and I'm like, he's going to turn on what's it called? The guy that dances all the time. I forget his name right now. But bottom line was because he offered him his ring. Now, I know with all the I'm a scumbag, but I'm their scumbag, people felt like, yeah, but MJF still had those cheating tendencies, yeah. But here's the thing. He offered for him to cheat after hyping him up and talking about Daniel Garcia. Like how he's earned his shot and he watched him come up the ranks and all of that. So, yeah, I'm giving you a weapon to cheat with, and then you don't do it. So it was like MJF is going to turn. Okay, but bottom line, he did it. Now, going back to being a heel, now he has the international championship, fine. He's not the world champion. But the storyline that picked up with him and Will Ospreay having their match, Well, basically, we don't know when Daniel Garcia is coming back, but we know that that's a feud. So that keeps them both out of the World Championship spotlight. Now, does he win the belt at some point from MJF? You know, what does this lead Will Ospreay? I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But bottom line is, what I'm saying is, these guys are all in a position. And once again, you got to remember, AEW is only 5 years old. So these guys are all in a position of they're having their feuds right now, and titles are on the line. Cody is holding the championship. Nobody even talks about the fact that him and Jey Uso were tag team champions. Like, nobody really, they probably don't even really remember, like, even think about it until someone says it. So, bottom line is like, okay, so now you find yourself in a position where you are the world champion over here, but there's nothing going on. There's nothing interesting going on. And I feel like a company should be balanced with their storylines. They should be balanced with what's going on, and, you know, to where one story is not overshadowing the other one purposely, if it just turns out that way, but you're putting equal effort to every storyline. There's really much of nothing going on right now with Cody's stories. So they put all this energy and effort into him crying all the time, which is one of the reasons they started booing him when he was in AEW, because, you know, it's one thing to give a passionate, heartfelt promo, but then it's like every week, then he come out crying and constantly talking about my dad and what you know, I'm doing it for my family. I mean, it was just the same thing. Then he loses a match, he takes off his boot and leaves in the ring. It's like this crybaby stuff. Remember, they had Arn Anderson working with Cody, and he's, you know, telling him, man, you stand up like a man, and all this, because Cody, bottom line, the same exact Cody that WWE is displaying right now is the one that was getting booed. That same character, that same Cody is what was getting booed in AEW. And everybody was talking about heel turn. And like I'm telling you, it's already starting to happen where, yeah, people, there's a lot of people that still love Cody, like Cody, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying, there's a lot of people that's starting to get tired of him. But it's like, no, I'm not saying strip him of the belt. I'm saying put him in better storylines. You got to do better. Give him better storylines. And look, for any company, like when we look at a guy like Jake Hager, right? And I'm hearing that he's no longer with AEW or thinking of leaving. Okay, here's my thing. He's done nothing since he's been there. Okay, I know he was doing MMA at one time. I don't know if he's still doing that as well, but I don't know how they see him, but when they're not using you, then it's obvious they don't see high value in you. Okay, he was part of a group. On his own, he's never done anything. Now, the way I hear it, you know, there's no one particular company he's looking to go to, but regardless, let's say if he went back to the WWE, what are they going to do with Jake Hager now that they didn't do before, that they should have done? Like, you know, so it's not like just because you leave, the grass is green on the other side. And yeah, AEW hasn't put him in a match, I mean, in so long. He comes out, he got the funny, I love the purple hat gimmick, but at the end of the day, there's been nothing going on. So, that's the thing. If he wants out, it's like, okay, he's a person that they'll end up replacing with someone that they want to use a lot more. But people think the answer is always when somebody's let go or they want out to go trying to run back to the WWE. And you know, it's funny because somebody said something about Andrade Idolo the other day, and I said, you know, he's back in the WWE, right? The guy goes, are you sure? Because I watched WWE, I ain't seen him. I said, well, yeah, that's who he is. So it's just what I'm telling you. People are not so invested into wrestling like they used to be. And for those that are, they spend the majority of the time complaining about the product. Pause. So pretty much, this is the way things go. people are who they are, and it's like people do this taking sides thing. Like, I'll give you an example for anyone that everything I'm saying, any one of you listening should understand it. If you take like rap music, you have this drill music, then you have this punchy pop type rap music, then you have what's considered more original style of like rap music, right? And basically, if you look at right now, the difference between them, like right now, when you had rappers from different places years ago, it was all of the same genre. Everybody just had different accents. So the South, the West Coast came after the East Coast, then the South came, the Midwest came, and then so you had all these different sounds. Now, there was a time where everybody started trying to sound like the South, and it started to kill the whole vibe of the music. Okay, but guess what? They were all considered rappers. Now you have branches within the tree of rap. And the problem is, it's like, okay, here's the deal. Okay, Dr. Death and Ric Flair. So, the problem is this. It's like, you have these, I either listen to drill music, and that's it. I don't care about that other punchy stuff, that pop stuff. I don't care about that so-called original rap, and vice versa. So, all of it is segregated and separated. And this is exactly why it's hard for these people to sell. Well, that's one of the reasons why they can't sell records anymore. Everything now is about singles. People were trying to put hit albums together years ago. Now, it's all about a single. Everybody sounds the same. Easy come, easy go. And that's the point. Because nobody cares about what these people are doing and what they're doing over here. It's all about this and that's that. And it's the same thing with wrestling. They have this mentality, I can't like every company. I can't like more than one company. It has to be, I'm pro this or pro that. But then it's funny because as soon as a wrestler from that company comes, you guys are screaming at the top of your lungs for that person. Oh, because they joined that roster or they walked out on that stage. And that is just so stupid to me. So stupid. And as a company, you have to put. Everybody always talk about the customers, right? Customers always right. We listen to our audience. You gotta understand, the majority of the people that go to these events don't necessarily make a lot of money. And they are saying, you have people that will take their income tax check money and take half of it or however much it takes just to say I was there at WrestleMania or the Super Bowl or some big boxing fight or something just to say that I was there. So I think they need to kill those ticket prices down, man. It gets to the point where they expect people to come out regardless. They don't care how much the tickets are. They need to knock those prices down. Come on, a family of four, and we're paying $3,500. Shit, it costs that to go stay a week in a fucking hotel. $3,500 to sit down at an event and just watch. It's not that much entertainment in the world that I'm willing to pay. I don't care if I was a billionaire. It's the principle. $3,500 to sit down and for one watch it's not even a real sport. It's more of an entertainment. They throw the word sports in front of it. They say sports entertainment, whatever. It's not even real fighting. But we sit down to watch this for $3,500? No. I would definitely feel ripped off. So, at the end of the day, when you are charging upwards of $1,500 for a front row ticket, as a matter of fact, the front row seats are $2,500. Yeah, $2,500 for a ticket to sit there and watch SummerSlam. Hell no, that's too much. It's too much. Now, I haven't heard anything about the ticket prices, like I said, of All In, but when I do, if it's something to get into, I'm only getting into this conversation about the ticket prices because people are complaining about it. And as far as All In is concerned, the fact that people are saying that they're worried that it won't be a sellout crowd because they're at 40-something thousand tickets sold, and that's 40-something thousand more to go, or 37,000. I don't remember the exact number. But bottom line, I think they were at 43,000. I think it was 43,000. So bottom line is this though. You're not going to hit a home run every single time. You're not going to have a sellout crowd every single time. Okay? You might hear a company say, we have a sold out crowd in such and such. The next week, 13,000, this and that. Why are they saying 13,000? Now, if they say a sold out crowd and then say the number, that's one thing. Usually when they say the number alone, it's because it's not a sold out crowd. It's basically a good number, but they're still short. I feel like we need to stop with all this negativity. You want to see a company die. You want to see the company fail. You want to see a company go out of business because you don't. I mean, if you don't like something, just simply don't watch. I just can't be that damn childish. I hate this company. Let me watch just so I can bitch about it. Because that's pretty much what I see happening on a regular basis. But the ticket prices got to go down. And yeah, I just feel like, man, like what's going on? Like wrestling is always going to have its up and down period. Every company's going to have it. Where it's at an all-time high, then all of a sudden it's like the genre just feels stale. And like for me, it's like I like to watch things that I enjoy, but I watch it without the influence of people trying to tell me what's good and what's not good. You understand what I'm saying? It's one thing to listen to somebody that's talking with the reason. Dr. Death beat Ric Flair and wins the tournament. You know, but just to hear people speak so negative about a situation, there's always details, okay, in a situation. And so me taking the time to even explain like the difference with AEW working with Impact versus the WWE working with them and how it pretty much helped TNA, as well as, you know, basically just, you know, AEW opening those doors and you know, people that tune in that might not have tuned in at one point. Because you have too much of this, like I said, this nonsense of people just, it's either I watch nothing but TNA and that's it. I watch only AEW and that's it. I watch only WWE and that's it. I watch only New Japan and that's it, or whatever. Hey, more power to you, man. But for somebody to consider themselves wrestling fans, you're not. You're simply not. You're a wrestling fan of a particular brand. But my whole thing is, even in that, why do we always want to see the worst happen to another company? Just so we can claim supremacy for the company that we like. I like AEW more than any other wrestling company that's out there. Okay? I don't want to see TNA go away just because I like AEW more. I was rocking with TNA from day one, okay? When they was having 99-cent pay-per-views, I was one of the people right there watching. They used to have them every Wednesday. And I was one of the people tuning in, watching it, loving the show. And the same hate that AEW is getting right now is the same hate that TNA was getting. The same shit. No matter what they did, no matter how hard they pushed, no matter how much adversity they faced, it was all, and I understand, it's not wrestling fans. It's the WWE diehards. That's the ones who's saying all this nonsense. Now, because the WWE is having a partnership with TNA, somehow they don't suck anymore. I don't see any change in their product. They're doing the same things, but at the same time, it's because WWE is involved with them, working with them to a certain degree, and now all of a sudden, oh, TNA is awesome. TNA is better than WWE. And it's so funny because I'm looking at the comment section of Slammiversary, and all I'm seeing the same way with the Fight Forever situation is the same thing. You are on TNA's fucking channel talking about AEW. Every other comment, oh, this is way better than AEW. See, this is actual wrestling. See, AEW, and it's like, you guys are so fucking childish and full of hate and full of shit. Do you hear yourselves? Man, all TNA wants to know is that you enjoyed the show, and just leave a positive comment. Man, these people are just going in AEW this, AEW. You're not even on an AEW channel. So if you're on AEW's channel, they put a video out, you just have to go in there and talk your shit. Because, and the funny thing is, when you start reading comments and you see it, okay, these are AEW fans. I'm not an AEW fan. I don't like them. I hate them. So let me just leave a stupid ass comment and start arguments with people or whatever. And this is what they do. They go in there and just somebody make a comment about how they love the show. What was to love about it? Oh, you're just a mark. This is the stupid shit that people do. And then when these people get blocked, they feel some kind of way, which nobody cares. But this is what they do. Somebody in one of the comment sections on one of the AEW's one of the last show that they just did with Collision. And somebody goes in there because everybody's saying like, "Hey, I like this new character." I saw Gringo Loco in there, and he fought against the new character they have called Hologram. Someone had the nerve to say, "Hologram is a cheap '90s ripoff of WCW characters." So I'm looking at it, and I said, "Okay." Now here's the funny thing: Ray Phoenix and his brother, somehow, they're cheap imitations of Rey Mysterio. But somehow Kalisto isn't. Somehow, Hologram is a 90s ripoff. And I'm sitting there going, okay. Once again, someone who's just talking, saying stupid things. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't know what this has to do with WCW, but and making the comment about this is a 90s ripoff of WCW. I don't even know what the hell he's talking about. I mean, I do know that they had a cruiserweight division and they had a lot of lucha libre wrestlers. But so did the WWE when they started their light heavyweight division, and so did what's the point? I mean, so whose look did Rey Mysterio steal? Right? If you want to go by that logic and say that, okay, is Rhea Ripley not like a new version of China? Do people not see her that way? Do people not view her that way? What's the Italian guy that was with NXT? He comes out with the whole little Guido kind of character. He got that old school Italian type accent. You know, all these different. None of these people was Ryback not a Goldberg? Not influenced by a Goldberg character? I mean, because we've seen it in Skip Sheffield. And all of a sudden he comes like this real intense, come out with the look at Goldberg right here. Only Ryback had the onesie on and he's slapping himself in the head doing the same. Like, I mean, come on. I mean, hell. For that matter, I mean, let's not forget, this is what I'm saying. Like when people say things talking about, oh, these people had zombies in their game. That's why I had to make the video showing you guys Chainsaw Charlie coming out with the goddamn chainsaw, and these people complaining because Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett had the guy come out dressed like Leatherface. Well, FMW had a wrestler, I forgot his name. He came out, I think I might have showed you guys him too. He came out dressed as Leatherface with the apron on and everything. Okay, so I mean, the things that people say is like, wow, you're complaining about something, but completely overlooking it in other companies. There's nothing really new. Carlito was nothing but a Razor Ramon ripoff. I remember Scott Hall when he was Scott Gator Hall. Okay, before the I made Chico and all. Yeah, all of this stuff that people say. I mean, WWE had a fake Diesel, a fake Razor Ramon. That fake Diesel. Yeah, you got to know him as Isaac Yankem, and then you got to know him as Kane. So all of these things that people say, I'm just like, what is wrong with people that they can't just watch something and just enjoy it? Why does everybody have to have a certain expectation of something, a certain fantasy in their head, and then if it doesn't happen that way, then it was garbage, it was trash, it's broken, it's a monstrosity. Nothing can ever just be what it is. It's like eating a fucking appetizer and then complaining. Look, I'm not full. Well, this is just an appetizer. It's not meant for you to be full. You haven't even got the main course yet. No, you're not. Bottom line, like this is what people do. So I'm watching and I'm listening and I'm just like, mm-hmm. So yeah, I feel people like, oh, Cody sucked. Cody needs to go back to AEW. He's done nothing. All this whole bullshit. He got the belt from Reigns. They should have gave it to somebody else. Reigns is not this and this and that. I mean, Cody's not this and that. And I'm feeling like, okay, I don't understand all the anger and shit, but at the end of the day, Cody just needs better storylines. They need to give him, he needs an opponent that he can have a rival with. No one wants to fucking see the whole, and the whole, what do they call themselves? The bloodline. Solo Sikoa is not cutting it, man. This new bloodline shit is just not cutting it. We've seen this shit for too long already. Just because they brought in Jacob Fatu, okay, yeah, fine, great. I was watching you in MLW, brother. So what? It's like, so what's gonna happen one day? The Rock is gonna come back, huh? Roman's gonna come back. Jay and Jimmy gonna squash their beef, and all of a sudden they're gonna go against the new bloodline. And after they did all this with family, and the Rock then pledged is Roman Reigns as his tribal chief too, and all this. So now is gonna be Solo Sikoa and his team reigns supreme, and they're the new ones in charge now. And now we got to watch a whole new version of the tribal, this whole thing all over again. The bloodline all over again. Like, no, man, it has to stop at some point. Like, seriously, no, we don't care about that. Now, the diehards that will just applaud anything that the WWE does are always the ones quick to complain about what other companies do. And that's why I say I don't watch the WWE or any company so I can complain about it. Now, I can explain some things, and it might be certain things I didn't really, that was okay. This was better than that. I like this. I didn't like that. I'm not really doing that I'm not really getting into that. I'm explaining these things based off of what other people were saying. And so, yeah, you guys already ready to throw Cody under the bus, but it's like I told you, nothing lasts forever. Those loud cheers he get now, at some point, will easily start to turn into boos. That's just the way things go. All he needs is the next hot guy. And I think with they've already watered down what's my man name? The guy, used to be at TNA. Dummy, dummy, but now he's over there in LA Knight. LA Knight, okay, he is like late 30s, early 40s. It's, for him, they never really believed in him. I don't know. Now, I've read an article about Triple H making a comment about he's a ripoff of The Rock and Stone Cold. Well, we knew that when he was in TNA. We knew that then. That's where his influences came from. Let's say it like that. But LA Knight, the fans like this guy. And when they was really, really screaming for this guy, nope, they didn't push him. Now, if they pushed him right, him and Cody would be right there at the top, and Ricochet could have been right there with them because the fans really like Ricochet, but he was one of those guys that WWE decided, nope. I can't tell you how many times, I think on one hand, I can name around how many times I can remember Ricochet winning. Every fight I seen Ricochet have, he lost. Every damn match. Like, if I seen him wrestle 50 freaking times in the WWE, I've seen him win maybe 3 times. Every time I see this guy, he's losing. So, bottom line is, for people that want to see him still there and his wife, fiance, Samantha Irvin or whatever, y'all know Ricochet's that guy. As soon as he comes to the AEW, if that's what happens, all of a sudden now, it's, okay, now let's talk trash about Ricochet. Like, someone made a comment about Scorpio Sky. Oh, he's a rip. This guy, fake ass, Ricochet. Like, nah, buddy. For your information, Scorpio Sky had that look far before Ricochet did. When Ricochet was running around as the Puma or whatever, yeah, Ricochet already had that style, and with the bald head. So I don't know this is what I mean about people though. Yeah, if Scorpio Sky was to go over to WWE, you'd all love him, and that's just basically just the way people do things. So yeah. The WWE just need to lower those prices, man. Because to be honest with you, that's ridiculous. $2,500 for a front row seat. The first 2-3 rows, they talking $2,500 for that, and nah, too much. Yeah, and as far as All Out goes, they still have time. But once again, man, people have more to do. It doesn't necessarily look. even like on a week-to-week show, when the ratings are not the same, they go up and down. People have things to do. People work new jobs. You got people working different shifts. Things happen. People got other things going on in their life. People want to go out on the weekends. I mean, come on. It's the summertime on top of that. You think, who the hell you think is going to take this summer and go, hey, man, I'm not going to do shit because wrestling is coming on. Doesn't matter what it is. They go out, they do what they have to do. So, ratings are going to go up and down. I don't even care about ratings. That's why I always say people are so quick to want to say something is not the same. It fell off. It's garbage. It's trash. Oh, the ratings were low. I don't faithfully watch everything. I can't. That's my point. I can't. So no, you're not going to get the same ratings every single week. It's going to go up and down because people have things to do. The core audience that don't, and that they can sit and watch all these shows, then yeah, those are the same people every week doing the same things. But at the end of the day, we're quick to, this show only made 700, only drew in 700,000. Oh, this show they did. Okay, so what are you like? You're crossing your fingers wanting to see the company go out of business because you don't like the company? Listen, I want to see all of them succeed because guess what? I like to watch wrestling as well. So, yeah. I don't know what people get out of that nonsense. But anyway, that's all I really wanted to get out to you guys, man. Because we see so many things, and people always want to make a conversation about something, and they start giving their opinions, and you listen to them talk and realize they don't even know what they're talking about. They're just talking, just to be running their mouth, but they don't even know what they're talking about. So no, somebody could want to see your mom or dad lose their job and lie and screw them out of a job, and then all of a sudden you guys lose your place and got to go shack up somewhere because they have no money and they can't find a job that can pay the bills the way they were. Shit could happen. So it's really not good to go around here. What kind of human beings are you anyway, that you walk around here feeling good to think that a company's going out of business? I heard Ric Flair, I heard Booker T, so many other people in the past say TNA was going to be out of business in about 6 months. Prior to that question that they was asking about how do you see the future of TNA? Yeah, look at where TNA is right now. And if TNA called Ric Flair and decided, hey, we're going to honor him for something or whatever, he'd be right there. After all that shit talking he did, Booker T, all of them. Booker T sat there on his little podcast and laughed about how he they paid him $400,000 and he wasn't even doing shit. They weren't even using all this kind of and I'm looking at him like, but you took the money though, right? Okay, so shut up. Because it's not like you sat here and said, you know what, man, I can't take this money. Honestly, I'm not worth what y'all paying me. I'm not doing anything. No, you sat there and took the money, but then you want to sit here and laugh and ha ha he like to make fools out of them for paying you, but you took the goddamn money though. So it's like, this is what I mean. People within wrestling are the most toxic people to wrestling because I guess they get burnt by certain people, certain companies, things happen, and then they just have a hatred, but they pretend they don't. Because they'll do like a wrestling podcast. Well, what else do you know sports-wise? What else could you talk about other than wrestling that you can really get into, right? But they do this, and they always have something negative to say, but they try to save face with certain companies because they have this you never know mentality. Like, you just never know. Maybe one day that person might call me for a job, so I don't want to say too much. But then there's places where they know that person's not going to call me. This company won't call me. So in this case with these guys who've been part of the WWE, they don't want to say the wrong thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, you know what? We were going to consider bringing you in for this and that. But, and this is like bottom line, there's things that I hear Booker T complain about. Not just him, but I'm using him for an example now because he works for WWE. There's things I hear him complain about, and I will watch the fucking WWE do the same shit he just complained about another company doing. Why do you think he don't speak on it? Why do you think he won't really say what he wants to say? Because he worked for them. If he was no longer working for them and they said, Booker T, fuck you, don't ever come back here. We'll never have you back here. Oh, he'd tell the truth then. And that's how that goes. That's how that works. But it's because he works there. And there's some things I see, and I'm like, there's no way you're going to sit here and say what you just said about AEW or TNA. Now, all of a sudden, because TNA has a partnership with the WWE, now he doesn't have anything to say. Now he's quiet about TNA. Yeah. But, that's just the way things go. It's like, just pay attention. You know, you hear people talking. That's why a lot of shit I just brush off my shoulders. Like, there's nothing to even talk about. But that's the thing with that. Nobody wants to know. This is not about wanting to see any company, go under. I used to watch Chikara Pro Wrestling used to come out here. Used to take my sons, and we used to go watch Chikara Pro. And this is when Mr. Anderson was a part of their. They were a part of their. Well, I used to watch them before. My kids were really small then, but Mr. Anderson was there with them. Glacier was there with them. Who else came out with them? It was a couple of people. People I can't remember right now off top, but like it was some notable names that was, But bottom line, I used to go watch their shows. They used to come out here, and let me tell you something. When that company folded, even though they didn't have a TV deal, they wasn't like a huge company or independent. Let me tell you something. It's like, damn, just to know that, well, we won't be going to any more Chikara Pro Wrestling shows. It's no emotional attachment, but you kind of get that little sting like, damn, fucked up. Because, yeah, right about now, we'd be going to go watch Chikara Pro Wrestling. And we would go there live, and it was always a nice packed house. And, I mean, we had fun watching the show. It was always a lot of fun. But you always have these people that don't understand. They're just rotten people. Listen, people, guys, there are so many miserable people in this world that just have nothing better to do other than make trouble for people and just want to see people fail. I don't know how that makes you feel good to watch someone fail or a company fail. But I could understand when you have some crooked, rotten people getting away with a lot of things and doing wrong. I get that. But you see what happens, and these guys are all hypocrites because they'll talk shit about a company. I mean, the way CM Punk talked about the WWE when he left, to say he's grown up, he's matured, and yeah, I know, right? It's because you basically thought you was going to come into AEW and be that guy, run the show, and pretty much you did what you did. What happened happened. Tony Khan had to make a decision, and no, you're not bigger than AEW. But that's the mentality that he came there with, thinking like, this is how these guys think when they were once a part of the WWE. And here's a fact. If not for AEW, CM Punk right now is not in WWE. If not for AEW, Cody Rhodes is not right now in WWE. Yeah. And he just felt like, no, we could make a storyline out of this, and we could continue this thing and blah, blah, blah. And notice, every time somebody interviews CM Punk, they just had to bring up AEW, and he can talk all the shit he want about AEW. But as soon as someone addresses what he said or fires back at him, oh, these guys are this, these guys are that. Oh, Kenny Omega couldn't lace CM Punk's boots. Oh, this person couldn't. Like, Kenny Omega's been winning titles all around this world. You know what CM Punk did? Much of nothing. And while he was on the come up, he got his walking papers from the WWE. They had their shit. And the only thing he managed to do was go into an MMA cage and get his ass kicked. He didn't do shit. He came back. Okay, his career was revived through AEW, Tony Khan, and basically, pretty much, no matter what CM Punk does, he's never wrong about anything. That's just the way things are with people. But if CM Punk decides to leave WWE tomorrow and then say WWE is not shit, they're a bunch of backstabbers or blah, 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 you know what those people will say? Oh, CM Punk is just salty. It's only true when he says it about AEW or whatever. So all these different stories, and then people make stories. Oh, CM Punk was right about AEW because blah, 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 blah. And it's like, God damn, what is wrong with y'all? You guys really hate the fact that WWE is not the only big boys in town. So now, when you see another company come along that has 3 fucking shows just like WWE Weekly, now all of a sudden, let's just find something negative to say. This is what you see on a regular basis. On a regular basis. And I'm like, God damn. You go onto a Ultra Pro Wrestling video game channel. You go onto Wrestling Code or whatever, and all you're talking about in the comment section is AEW. You claim you love WWE so much, but you're not even talking about them. Why would you anyway? Right? But you're only talking about AEW. You go on to TNA's Slammiversary, you go into India, and I'm sitting here saying, You know what's funny? You talked all that shit on that Slammiversary pay-per-view, but I bet you didn't talk shit on that Explosion match card because they were it looked like it might have been 70 people in that crowd. So yeah. This is what I mean about people. If AEW had a crowd of 70 people, you would never hear the end of it, because even now, if they have a show and the building is not sold out, oh, they had the one guy with the whole, he kept showing the same fucking picture from different angles. It was the same exact picture. And he's lying. Oh, once again, TNA with a half empty building. Once it is like, okay, the WWE went through that same thing. TNA went through it. So, and even with a half empty building, they still have far more than half of what TNA crowd is. But now, like I said, all of a sudden, TNA can do no wrong. Come on, people. We need to just lose the ignorance, lose the childishness. All right, simple. That's all it is. It's wrestling. These things are designed for us to enjoy. There's times if something is going wrong, overpricing, or you feel cheated, somebody, just things can happen, but we're not talking about any particular incidents. This is just everyday terrible behavior, week after week. Let me watch a show just so I can complain about it. That's all. And I don't want to see these companies go away because it makes me feel better to say AEW is better. No. What does that do? It does nothing for me if WWE goes out of business. If any one of these companies are gone, that means less jobs for a whole lot of people. Yet y'all are such fans of wrestling. Why don't you try to be a fan of being a human being and want to see people do better? Want to know that, hey, life is not all about you and your selfish bullshit thoughts, because a lot of people will be out of work. A whole lot of these guys are not going to have a home in wrestling. A whole lot of them won't. You see what happened to the Bunny ever since she was released by AEW. Well, what is the Bunny doing now? Indie shows. Everybody doesn't have that star power. So when somebody take you, look at Leva Bates. Look at the reaction that she was getting. You see what I'm saying? Everybody don't have that. You was getting that in AEW. And now outside of AEW, they go do these little indie shows, and it's what I'm saying. Do you see the WWE knocking on their door? Hey, Leva Bates, we want you over here. Hey, Bunny. Yeah, Ali, we need you over. No, everybody doesn't get that. Okay, bottom line. Stop all the bullshit. We just need peace in this world. That's all. You enjoy things you don't enjoy. If you enjoy it, indulge. If you don't, ignore it. That's simple. That's all I got for you guys right now. Y'all be safe, be blessed. Play your games and enjoy your games. I will catch y'all on the next one.